First of all, let me explain what a meta-analysis is. It's an analysis of existing data. It takes data that has been published in literature in individual units of 50 to 100 patients, sometimes even less. And it puts all that data together to see if we can get better and bigger information. And although it was 50,000 patients on the title, it ended up being 70,000 patients. So that's really a lot of data. And what we were trying to do is put together all the clinical trials that are phase 2 and phase 3 trials. So one of the analyses was phase 2 and the other was phase 3 trials. And look at it and see if precision medicine embedded in those trials made a difference. So some of the trials had a biomarker-based approach, or precision medicine, also known as personalized medicine approach, and a lot of other trials did not. And we want to see what is the difference. The comparison group was the same trials done during the same time period that did not have a biomarker-based approach. Well, it's quite remarkable. In every way that we looked at it, using personalized medicine is associated with a better outcome. It's associated with higher response rates. It's associated with longer time till the disease progresses, and it's associated with better overall survival. And really, of all the features we looked at, that was the most important feature for predicting a better outcome. Tolerability was hard to look at from the data in the trials, but it's a very important question. We looked at safety, and which is sort of a measure ultimately of tolerability. And in particular, we looked at the percent of patients that died as a result of the drug that had toxicity. And in one of the studies, there was no difference between the patients that had traditional therapy and personalized therapy. And this was very important because some people have claimed that the personalization might be dangerous. So that showed that it was safe. In the second study, the patients with personalized therapy actually had a much lower rate of death that was due to drug. So it was actually much safer than traditional therapy as well. Well, I think that there's three main things, two of them that we were looking for, and then one that was unexpected. So the first is, do patients that have personalized therapy or precision medicine therapy, whichever term you want to use, do better? And in every outcome we looked at, they did better. The second is what I just mentioned. Was this safe? And absolutely it was safe. And indeed, in one of the meta-analyses, the rate of death due to toxicity or side effects from the drug was lower than in traditional therapy. So it was even safer than the traditional therapy. And those were two things that we set out to look for. But sometimes when you're doing a study, you also find something that you didn't expect that is really informative, and that happened in this study. So one of the ways that people think about targeted therapy is that targeted therapy in of itself is a great idea. And that it's better than chemotherapy because chemotherapy is harsh. And what we found was that that's not really true. Targeted therapy that is personalized, that is matched to the patient, is the best thing that you can do for the patient. But targeted therapy that is given to patients that are not selected in any way, it's just given randomly to people, is actually the worst thing you can do to patients. It's almost worthless when you give it to unselected patients. And indeed, we were wrong. It's not better than chemotherapy. It's worse than chemotherapy. So if we go from best to worst, best is personalized targeted therapy. Second best is chemotherapy. And the worst is targeted therapy that is given to unselected patients.